person. But great restaurant, though. One of my favorite joints, though. But our boy David Griffin was there. And I saw some people like kind of, it's funny on the forum. The reason I bring this up, some people on the forum are like, oh, man, smack him across his head, whatever. This and I was like, what? This dude's a fucking god, man. This guy is fucking bringing basketball to a place we've never seen. How often can we say in the history of New Orleans basketball since 2001, 2002, can we say, shit, this team has tons of young fucking talent, no bad contracts. When could we ever say that? And we have a bunch of draft picks coming up. This dude, Jeff Bauer and Dell Demps, how many times we had to rob Peter to pay Paul and trade first-round picks to get rid of asinine contracts like Solomon Hill and Omer Asik?
I wonder why. Maybe because the cash guy was Loomis, and he thought that shit worked for the Saints.
Yeah.
And you could do the same thing with the basketball team.
Maybe Loomis. You know, it's funny. All the same, and that's the first thing to me. Dave, you know, David Griffin probably
Saints have
came
done
in
this successfully for years.
David Griffin probably came in there with his dong out and said, "Look, he slapped Loomis, Loshka, all those guys across the face." And look, if I ever have you guys on a podcast, you know what I'm saying, Mickey and company. He came in there. He said, "Look, I got Trajan Langdon. I got Swin Cash coming in. You stupid bastards know nothing about basketball. Football, y'all can do your thing, but y'all don't know shit about basketball. So get the fuck out of here.
Well,
let me run this operation." And that's what happened.
They knew enough to get somebody that knows what the fuck about.
Exactly.
About
no, I love Mickey Loomis and company. I do. But you had no business putting the football side that deep into the basketball side. David Griffin's here now. He's like our Theo Epstein, basically. He's taking his shit from a bad place to a fucking great place. I mean, the Pelicans right now, dude, so many people are excited. I mean, I think they can make the playoffs without a doubt. I really feel they're going to catch Memphis. I don't think San Antonio is going to be there. I still worry because Popovich is Popovich, and they have just enough there on the roster to maybe make a run. Portland, to me, you know, it's funny. Damian Lillard, not funny. I mean, I love Damian Lillard, but he's banged up a little bit. He's got a groin issue. If that lingers to after the All-Star break, you can maybe cross Portland off the list.
Honestly, this Portland team is so flawed. It's hard for me to see them make the playoffs. I mean, they had a good little thing going a couple years ago, but they've lost a lot of that momentum.
Yeah.
And Hassan Whiteside is a stat mongerer.
He's not. He's overrated. Overrated.
He does not play the game well. He's a terrible defensive player, and the team's worse when he's on the floor.
Miami was. Look how much Miami is better without him when they go into Bam. You know what I'm saying?
He's like what's that guy? The Asian fellow who came in the draft and he said his defense was like the chair defense.
Wait, you got me. I'm having a moment. We might have to come back to that one.
Hold up.
Wait, there's a guy, a big.
Yeah, I think he showed all his skills by like dribbling around a chair. And then
he's in this draft coming up.
The link because as his career went on, he actually defended like that chair. So
fuck, dude, you got me. I'm just having a blank, I guess. I'm so jacked about Pelicans. I can't think of the Asian man that didn't play.
I think he used to play for the Lakers, actually.
Wang Zhuju?
Maybe that
Wang. All right. So
Sorry,
fucking awesome name. Great name.
An awesome Wang story.
All right, man. Well, we're done talking about our Wangs for a moment, man. But I'm just gonna say, Pels, go Pels tonight. Let's keep this winning streak going into the break. Come out the break hard like a math test. And I think this team could definitely make a run. This is a big game tonight, though. I want to get that extra game on Memphis. We got that extra game in hand this week. Let's go win this ball game. And then it's All-Star Weekend in Chicago. Brandon Ingram will represent the Pels. So things will be good. But anyway, let's get to this, man. Another subject I want to get to, man. Taysom Hill. It came out. I think we kind of addressed this a little bit last podcast, but people are a little bit upset with him saying that he wants to be the successor here in New Orleans to Drew Brees. If not, he'll go check his options out elsewhere. I think that's the perfect thing to say. He loves the city, came out and said that. I want to be a quarterback in the league. Why do people hate? I even saw a dude put up his footage from BYU, his worst game in BYU when he was a quarterback, like 7 fucking years ago. What does that matter? I shut that shit down. I said, hey, asshole, you want to put up Taysom Hill's BYU footage? How about you go put up Ryan Leaf, put up Jamarcus Russell's footage from college, Washington State and LSU. Then go put up fucking footage of their second year in the NFL and tell me if that means jack shit at that point. You know what I'm saying? What does that sense? This dude finds his worst game in college and puts it up on footage, and people are hating on him. But why is there hate towards this guy for saying that? You know what I'm saying? Why is there hate towards Taysom Hill for saying, I want an opportunity to be a quarterback?
If you want to know what Taysom Hill's about, just put on the tape of that Minnesota game in the playoffs.
That's what I'm saying. That dude's got balls of steel. I'm just saying, like, his testicles are steel. I'm saying, he's got a fucking cannon of an arm, You know what I'm saying? He's fastest guy in the roster. I mean, why do you not give this guy an opportunity?
Man, that dude, I mean, Taysom is amazing. You know, one could say he's one of the big dogs on the Saints.
Dude.
Because we also have another big dog in the house.
The man has come.
Yeah. The big dog of
the big dog of the parish.
Drew Page. Joel Smith.
Oh, Joel in the house. Ted's in the house too. All right, we got two big dogs in the house.
You know what I'm saying?
I know Ted's pretty excited, man. Lady Red was added to the show in Chalmette, the show that will be.
You mean Lady Red?
Lady Red, man. You know what she's gonna be doing. You know her song, man. Her main hit. You know what it was about. That show will be presented to you by Tailgate. We will be on the bill for that.
I thought it was presented by the other podcast.
It's going to be Tailgate. It's going to be Tailgate representing that. I'm just putting it out there. Poncho, just deal with it. But listen, that's happening. But that's going to be a show. We're going to definitely be, we're going to have a little part of that as well. But we're going to talk more about that as it gets here. But right now, Taysom Hill, Drew Brees. I love Drew Brees. Drew Brees, if he wants to come back, the door is always wide open. I mean, life before and life after Drew Brees are two entirely different things here in New Orleans.
But Joel agrees that he can play, but I think he can play that way for 4 quarters.
I agree with that too, and that's why I've suggested this 2-quarterback thing, man. I think it can work. I know everybody's saying, "Oh, it's never going to work," but if it's ever going to work in the NFL, it's going to be now with Drew Brees at 41.
Drew Brees already quoted saying that he doesn't mind if Taysom Hill plays 30 snaps a game.
Taysom Hill needs to get at least, and I don't know if I'd say 30, but I know he said that, but I'm saying what if he got 8 to 10 passing attempts a game, and you're showing the defensive coordinator Drew Brees and Taysom Hill. You're allowing Taysom to grow. Now, maybe you can't use Taysom as a receiver or blocking punts, but you know what? We need to get better at wide receiver anyway, to where we don't have to use our second-string quarterback.
My question is, you're struggling in the game, and Taysom comes in and shreds through the other team's defense. Do you give him the second drive right after that, too?
I mean, that's something that Sean Payton and Drew Brees, and they're going to have that conversation.
On the bench and eat some popcorn. I mean, he's got all the records.
Look, I don't think Drew's going to hold an ego about this. I mean, Drew has had an amazing career. He's one of the best ever. I don't care what the NFL's stupid 100 thing says. He's a top 10 quarterback. I think he's a top 5 quarterback of all time, in my personal opinion. I mean, I know I'll get arguments from some people on that, but I think he's one of the best ever, without a doubt. He's a first-ballot Hall of Famer. Drew deserves every shot to be on the field. Now, if Taysom's had a game where I think Sean would definitely play the hot hand. I think it's going to be hard for him to go away from Drew Brees. But if Taysom's just doing some amazing shit out there, I think you got no choice. You know what I'm saying? For that, to maybe ride with him a drive that you were going to give Brees.
Montana won how many Super Bowls? But
the point is,
always Steve Young, but why can't both of them play together?
But Sean Payton is the guy that can make it work. And to me, the other thing about it is this. Peyton Manning had to swallow his pride. Remember, his last year in Denver, he won a Super Bowl, second championship, one with the Colts, one with the Broncos. That second championship, you ever looked at his numbers, how terrible they were? That team, remember, that was a running team. C.J. Anderson had that standout year. They had the best defense on earth, led by Von Miller and company. They won because of that. Peyton, I think, had 9 passing touchdowns that year and well under 3,000 yards. So he swallowed his pride to win a second Super Bowl. If Drew Brees can just give way, and he already said he would, a few snaps a game to Taysom, where maybe you could show some different things that Drew's not capable of as a quarterback. I love Drew Brees, but at 41, some of the talents start diminishing, and that's just the way of the world. That's the way of nature. You know what I'm saying?
And a lot of people, say that you can't run the quarterback like that, for 4 quarters. Cam Newton did it for 8 years.
Yeah. No, and Taysom's not.
He's probably gonna have a real bad quality of life, in 5 years. But
that's the problem.
To his outfits, it's definitely
he dressed like a fucking Planters guy.
A brain injury happened very early on in the career, and that became acceptable.
Let me ask you this though. Going back to the thing, I think there's no way you draft a quarterback. Because I think if you can't get Burrow and you can't get Tua, you might as well say fucking wait till next year. That's my opinion. All right. I'm looking at corner in the first round. I know we're going to do more draft coverage as it gets closer. Next week, we have no Pelicans, basically until Friday of next week. So we're going to talk more about free agency and the draft. That's our plan for the podcast, I suppose. But right now, to me, wouldn't you say in the draft, go get a corner? You know what I'm saying? Because let's be real. Janoris Jenkins isn't getting any younger. If he does work his contract, you got him for probably 2 years at best. You know what I'm saying? I think Chauncey looks more like a strong safety to me. He could be the replacement if Von Bell does leave. You know what I'm saying? So I think getting a corner makes a world of sense because PJ's probably, that's 50-50 he even comes back. Patrick Robinson's got a little bit of a hefty contract still. You could make him a cut candidate depending on how that dead money works with his situation.
So basically,
I think you got to draft a corner. There's four of them in the top 40 on everybody's board.
Jenkins and Apple, you definitely need a corner.
You need a corner, absolutely. And to me, I would not waste my time with a quarterback. I'm not going to take a gamble on Hurts or Jordan Love or Justin Herbert or whoever.
But can Chauncey step up to be your second, or he's better in the
I think I don't know. He could be a nickel, I think, or I think he's a slot, like the way Tennessee uses Logan Ryan. I think he could be that kind of guy, or I think he could be a badass mofo at a strong safety. If Von Bell gets too much money elsewhere, we're not going to be able to match possibly.
With teams like Atlanta, the Buccaneers, and potentially the Carolina Panthers, depending on what they do at the quarterback situation. All of them have multiple receiving options.
Yeah.
So you need 2, 3 cornerbacks.
Good fucking point. Good point. That's what I'm saying. Like I said, I'll argue it. I'll keep bringing it up every podcast sometimes when we talk about receivers in a division. But Godwin and Evans, arguably the best tandem in the league. You got Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley, another top 3 tandem.
It's not like those other guys can't play. They playing against 2 number ones, so they shine a little bit too. And now you got potentially Winston getting his eyes checked. For 2020, he got the LASIK.
Let me ask you this: you got 2 of the top 3.
Dude, no telling what Winston winds up doing next year.
2 of the top 3 tandems in the division.
25 interceptions.
Yeah, exactly right. But 2 of the top 3 tandems in NFL are in the same division, and it's yours. I mean, let's be real: Julio and Ridley, Godwin, Evans. There's not too many receiving tandems I'd even put in the same ballpark of those guys. That's to me 2 of your elite wide receiving duos. And I mean, I know some people going with the Saints to draft a receiver in the first round, but guess what? We didn't draft Mike Thomas in the first round, and that worked out pretty damn good. We didn't draft Marcus Colston in the first round. It worked pretty good. I think Sean Payton could go find that receiver. Just because maybe Traquan might not be that guy doesn't mean we can't get a receiver in the 3rd or 4th round. This is a deep draft with wide receivers and running backs. I know the Kamara thing's going to be kind of iffy. We got to see how we approach that, but I still think first round, I say skip the quarterback. Teddy's going to go start somewhere else. I love Teddy. Teddy's a stand-up guy. I'll tell you, he's probably one of the most likable guys in the league. Great dude. And I wish him the best. I will root for Teddy when they're not playing us. I will. But you can't. You can't. So it's going to be Drew and Taysom, and I say you wait on drafting a quarterback.
You're still paying Drew Brees $20 million next year.
Absolutely.
That number's hitting the cap some kind of way.
Absolutely. Man, I want to close on real quick. I know we're getting kind of long, and the Pels are pretty much about to they've actually probably about to tip off. You'll be hearing that DJ Jubilee coming through in a minute from the Smoothie King Center.
I know a lot of y'all. We just want the tip.
We wanted to just get the tip in. That's right, man. But real quick, I want to say this. I want to say a big FU to the Houston Astros, man. I'm sorry if I offend any Astros fans in the house tonight. Those dudes, they got Jose Altuve, Alex Bregman, the LSU superstar, and George Springer all spoke out today at their facility in West Palm Beach, Florida. Pitchers and catchers are reporting to spring training. Baseball's almost here. They gave the most bullshit, half-hearted apology about stealing signs. The worst cheating scandal in the history of baseball. All right, this is worse than steroids. This is worse than a pitcher lubing up a baseball. All right, this is worse than a batter corking his bat. Chris Bryant, Trevor Bauer, Aroldis Chapman, marquee players in the league have spoken out and said, hey, this is like the worst shit. Baseball, knowing what pitch is coming and where is horrible. I know we talked about it a bunch on the podcast. I just want to say this. They have to be – I think they need to strip the title. I'm going to keep living on that shit. I would have so much respect for Major League Baseball.
They didn't.
Dude, everybody got fired. The manager got fired. There's several people who are basically suspended, fired, draft picks are lost.
People got fired, but they're keeping this title.
The players haven't experienced shit. The managers, general managers, the owner got fined. The players have had no penalties. And they were part of it.
The players had, equipment on them.
This dude interviewed George Springer today in the locker room at their facility. And says, hey, man, did you ever stop to think, hey, man, maybe we shouldn't be doing this? And he's like, oh, man, he starts giving his stupid-ass, rebuttal saying, oh, well, we're on the road and, things are going so crazy and we really didn't have the time to do it. Basically make it seem like, hey, we were cheating and we knew it, but, we didn't want to address it right away because, of course, we wanted to win a fucking World Series first. You know what I'm saying? Because we are good. They are a good team. They're talented. And when you have that kind of fucking edge, you're going to fucking win at some point. You know what I'm saying? But it was, dude, baseball... They've got to do what they did in 94. They had a strike-shortened season. They didn't have a World Series. I hated that as a fan. But I would give them so much respect if they say, fuck you, Houston. We're taking that World Series title, and you're not getting shit. Baseball just signed a brand-new deal with Fox, a lucrative deal. They made over $11 billion in revenue, their biggest year ever. The fan support has grown. People are past the steroid shit. There's phenomenal young talent. I think